Hello everyone, welcome back. You're watching Empyrion Galactic Survival episode 116. I'm Enigmius and today it's Blueprint Day. That's right, the MineOrb hover vessel miner is done. And you'll get the link for the blueprint in the information section below the video. But what I'm doing now is something I don't normally do with blueprint videos, but it seemed kind of important that I do it for this one little change. So I'm showing you a revision that we made, and seeing how it's done is probably going to be more useful than seeing the end result. So if you just want to see the tour of the ship and skip this little build segment, you can go to about the 2-minute 45-second mark of the video. That's around where the tour will start. But for this, what I decided was that it would be very useful to be able to see outside the ship from the cockpit, because the ship is designed to work in confined environments where the chase camera sometimes struggles to kind of present a quality view of what's going on. It gets caught up on the terrain and starts bouncing around and jittering, and it's really just not a very pleasant thing to use sometimes. So I decided, if you're really desperate to see what's going on and the chase camera isn't working for you, you could just revert to the cockpit view, ideally, and see outside. But in order to do that, I wanted to do it, first of all, without overhauling anything. I didn't want to go moving a bunch of stuff around. But also I came up with this idea of taking this 2-layer thick segment of the ship that we're clearing out now in between the 2 drill turrets and replacing the cubes in that part of the ship with the walls, those thin blocks that you see top and bottom now that are holding the drill turrets. So we didn't have to move the drill turrets, they're in exactly the same spot. The block space occupied by the cubes previously is still occupied by the walls, so it's not a massive weakness, just a great big gaping hole. As far as I know, depending on how granular the hit checking is. And it works pretty well. It was a pretty slick kind of transition from all blocks, all cubes, to this thing that you could see through. And you can see getting it all cleared out was half the battle. And then we go outside, and what we're left with is this opening that we close up with glass. And you'll see specifically how I did that. And then we'll jump right over to the completed version of the ship, which looks quite a bit different from what we're looking at now. We'll do a walkthrough, show you where everything is, and then we'll do the demonstration of how the ship works. And here we are in the wild with the MineOrb hover miner. It got a bit of a paint job. It kind of reminds me of a pumpkin now. Not because I planned it that way, but I decided it's kind of an industrial kind of ship, so we went with the industrial colors, oranges and yellows and things, so that it's visible no matter where it might be. I think it turned out really well. Aesthetically, it definitely has a look to it, and the bulb in the front, this glass sort of structure, helps, I think, with the look. We've got 2 drill turrets and 6 static drills. We've got plenty of spotlights to give it plenty of light out front, so that when you're looking through the cockpit you can see as much as possible. It's not a huge view that you get, but it is a view, and it's aided by the pair of spotlights out front. Plenty of thrusters on the front, 16 thrusters for reverse to help keep things a little bit nimble and make it a little bit easier to maneuver. More thrusters on the front than on the sides. We've got 8 on either side, 16 in the back, then we come around to the other side, pretty straightforward. We've got a spotlight on each side as well, and then for rear lighting we've got just this little light here underneath this outcrop that's got plenty of illumination for whatever you might need to be doing, and it's red as well because different colored lights are fun. The interior, as you can see, is very straightforward. We've got all of our fuel tanks. You can reach all of them from here. You don't have to get close to them, and we've got a little bit of glass reminding you don't get too close, but if you really want to get in there, you can, for whatever reason. Same thing over here on the other side. Down here we've got oxygen tanks and ammunition containers, and then through the grates here you can see we've got our RCS units and our generators, and they're all colored very brightly in the back there as well, just so that you can kind of, it's a reminder that there's stuff back here, and if you're ever wondering where to go to find the generator that just apparently got destroyed, this is one way to go about that. So I spent a little bit of time on the interior, but I didn't really want to make it too much of a focus. Oh, and this spot here that I think a lot of people, if they don't watch the video, might find a little bit frustrating because it's not the first place that you would look. But we've got the containers where all of your mined goods go, your oxygen station, your fridge, and then 2 cargo containers for whatever it is you want to carry around. It's not intended for long deployments by itself, but you always want to have space to carry a little extra food, and a station for replenishing your oxygen ready at hand. So in terms of that aspect of the ship, there's nothing really about the ship that I'm not happy with at this point in time. I have tested it. Up here we've got the 4 minigun turrets that can be substituted for whatever you really want. It's not, I think, all that important what goes on the top of the ship or what kind of guns you like to use, but this is my preference. My go-to for hover vessels for general defense is the minigun turret. And then we've got another door that we can use, drop right down onto the cockpit. Again, because of the environment that the ship is going to be used in, it seemed like a decent idea to have a secondary entrance that you can use to get into or out of the ship if the other one is backed up against a rock or something like that. It makes it a little bit difficult. So that's the tour. Very simple, very straightforward. It's not an especially large ship. You can see we can jump on top of it very easily. Once we're on top, there's not really a whole lot of space to be running around. There's a light for the upper section there. Just one little wee tiny light keeps this upper area illuminated. And then just like that, we're down the front section of the ship. So that's the tour of the MineOrb hover vessel. The next thing that we're going to do is find a deposit that we can mine, and we'll do a little time lapse of it mining to see how it does and what kind of a mess it makes. So there you have it, the MineOrb Hover Miner. Complete blueprint information section below the video. Next episode, we're going to start a brand new build. It's going to be the small vessel that the Hammerhead was originally meant to be, but I kind of encountered a few difficulties, and rather than force my way through them, I just kind of went with the flow. I'm not unhappy with the Hammerhead. It's got a look all of its own. You can see it's a little bit dinged up in places. It has seen some use, but I had an idea in mind for the look of the ship that I kind of abandoned early in the process, and I want to get back to it. And we're going to try some different methods of doing the layout early in the build that will hopefully make it much easier as we go along in order to basically come up with a fairly complex build, a fairly detailed and complex looking ship Maybe a little bit larger than this one, maybe not, we'll see. And this guy is probably going to get scavenged for parts. So if you want to be notified about the next video in the series and future videos after that, the easiest way to do that is to subscribe to my channel or follow me on social media. Links for social media are always in the information section below the video. Feel free to leave your comments and feedback. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.